everyone, back again today with another card tutorial, and today I've got a stepper card for you. It's a bit different. This is a 5-step stepper card, so you get a sort of a pyramid effect. You can see a bit better on this one. So I thought I'd also tackle one of those tricky ones, those men cards. So I've used the manual labour kit from Nitwits, which comes with a range of papers and images. I'm going to show you some tips on the printing so that we actually get both cards from one printout of the backing papers. So stay tuned, grab your trimmer and your papers and come and craft along. So here's one of the blank 5-step stepper cards. And today we're going to make 2 of these. So I've got one ready prepped and I'll make the second one with you. And we're going to decorate it with some masculine papers today to get one of those tricky men cards out of the way. So I've used the manual labour kit from Nitwits. And people ask with DigiKits, is it expensive to print? Well, a few tricks will make it cheaper. What I've done here is gone into the kit, clicked on the backing paper or selected the 2 backing papers I want and gone to print them. Instead of printing full sheet, I've printed the photo option for 2 on a page. So that way I've now got 2 of my papers on 1 sheet. And even better with this is actually going to make 2 of our stepper cards. So from 1 sheet, we're going to get 2 cards. And then I've just placed some ephemera onto a piece of paper on my Microsoft Publisher. And then just resized them to what I wanted, printed them out and cut them out. So yeah, so if you print 2 papers on 1 sheet, it's going to make your printing a lot cheaper. So let's grab our trimmer. And we just need 1 piece of cardstock here. Let me open up my trimmer. So you do need a trimmer rather than a guillotine. And we're going to be cutting inside our card. So we need to be able to lift and drop in certain places. So you do need one of these trimmers. This is the Tonic Studio one. And it's got my measurements down there and across the top. So we're going to start off just by cutting this as a regular 5x7 card. So I've got a 10 by 7. So for a regular card now, I would just score at the 5-inch and I've got my 5x7 card. But as you can see, today's a bit different. So I've got my short edge along the top. And I'm lining up the left-hand side at 1 1/4 inches. Okay. So now we're going to do 4 cuts going down. So this is where I'm now going to use this part of my trimmer. Now you may not be able to see it because it's black on black. But you can see here is the 3-inch mark. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to lift this piece and I'm going to take my blade. Now the blade's got a little arrow, so I'm going to take that to the 3-inch mark. Now I'm going to have to take that white piece away now. So my arrow is on the 3 and I'm going to push down into the cardstock. So that's where my cut will start. And I'm going to cut from 3 inches down to 7. So my arrow now is pointing towards the 7. I can see it quite easily on mine. You probably can't because it's black on black. But I can see quite clearly the 7 there. So I start at 3 down to 7 with my card on the 1 1/4 inches. So I'm going to lift and I'm going to slide my card now to 2 1/2 inches. I'm going to place my blade now at the 4-inch mark, press it down, and I'm going to stop at 8. So I've cut between the 4 and the 8. So now we're going to have our central stepper, which is going to be 2 inches. So I can move this now up to 4.5. And I'm going to repeat that cut I just did. So I'm still on the 4, and I'm cutting down to the 8. And then the last cut is going to be at 5 3/4 inches. And we're going to repeat that first cut we did. So we're starting on 3 this time, and ending on 7. So that's our 4 cuts done. I'm going to take my blade out of the way now, and I'm going to grab my scoring tool. So I'm going to turn it now. So what was at the top is now on the left hand side. So just anti-clockwise, just a 1/4 of a turn. And I'm going to line the bottom up at 3 inches. You may remember that's where we started our cuts earlier. So it's going to be in line there. So I'm going to think of this now as 5 rows. So I'm going to score now from the top of my card, and I'm going to stop at the first cut line. So I can see my cut line there. So that's row number 1, and I want to do the same for number 5. So I can start at the bottom and go up and stop at that cut line, or just start at the cut line and come down. So we've scored row 1 and row 5. I'm going to lift and slide it down to the 4-inch mark. And this time I want to hover over row 1, and I'm going to score between the next 2 cut lines. So that's row number 2. So I can see my cut lines, so I don't need to measure anything. I'm just sort of scoring between those 2. Skip number 3, and score number 4. Lift, and now we've moved on. So 3, 4, 5. You can see it's actually a lot easier than you think. We're going to score that central row. So number 3. So this is our wide 2-inch one. Now we're going to move on to 6. And for number 6, we're going to do 1 and 5. Move it down to 7 inches. And we're going to do 2 and 4. And finally, we're going to move it to the 8-inch mark. And we're going to score 1 and 2. Skip number 3 and do 4 and 5. Okay, so that's the one that's a little bit different to the others. So that's going to give our front bit. So you see a nice pyramid shape at the top. So that's actually the back of our card. So I'm going to fold that pyramid shape into mounting. So I'm just doing it gently now. We'll give them a proper score later on. So I've made a pyramid, if you can see, there we are. So now the next ones, we're going to fold into valleys. And the final one is mountains again. So we had to mount it up, up, up along our pyramid, then down, down with the 4 on the sides, and it should end up folding itself into place. So now you can do the scoring. This way you can get it into the shape you want before committing yourself. So if you need a little tweak, you can. So those are our card bases. So let's get to the fun bit. Let's start decorating. So as I said, the great thing about this is we're actually going to get the fronts to both of these cards from this bit just by alternating how we do it. So I'm just trimming off the white for now. Right. So our base piece is 2 inches wide. So I want to actually go 1 3/4. So I've got a little black border and I'm going to take it to 6 3/4. So that will go along the bottom there. So it was 2 inches high, so I've just gone 1/4 inch shorter both ways. Let's just trim off the white. And then our central piece here is also 2 inches wide. So I'm going to cut it at 1 3/4. And the height of it was 3 inches. So it is my 3 inch. I'm just going to go back 1/4. So now I've got a piece to go there. Now it's up to you. You could do it down that way and then have 2 smaller pieces that way. But I think I just prefer it this way. So now just to prep this for later on, I'm going to cut that 2.5 inch piece off. Now all the pieces are 3 inches tall, so I can just cut this at 2 3/4 straight away. Now our little pieces coming down, they are 1 1/4 inches, so we want to cut them at 1 and 1. So this piece now is going to make the second card later on. So let's bring back our original pieces. So we've got our central one, then 1 each side, and this that way. It's pretty much going to be the same again, 1 inch again. So all I'm doing is alternating the pattern as we go down our 5 pieces. So there we go, 1 there, 1 there. Then our 2 more patterned pieces, our wide one and our strip. Now it's up to you, you can put some on there as well if you want. So I'm just taking my black soot distressing. I'm just taking away that white core from the cardstock. You see again, the measurements aren't too tricky. I've kept 2 1/4 inch increments. So this is just a big base piece. So let's stick that one down first. So I'm just leaving a black border. And we'll start on this central piece. So this bit here is going to be covered with me, so I'm not too worried about that bit. And the last one. So you see there's not much patterned paper here at all. That's great for men's cards. I think I like seeing things which are just a little bit different, a little bit 3D with fancy folds. And there we have it. That's your card base done. But as I said, because of the way we cut it earlier, we've actually got enough now to decorate a second one. So it was a 7-inch card, so I'm going down to 6 3/4. Like I said, I just go back 1/4 of an inch. So these were 1 inches. Oh, sorry, this was a 1 3/4 inches and 2 1 inches. So you could put 3, 5 different patterns if you want. I've just stuck to the 2 just to maximise the paper. So again, let's just ink the edges. So you can see, other than the cutting of the ephemera, I've done everything on camera for you. So these are pretty quick cards to make because I've actually made 2 cards. And they're a little bit different. And like I said, I've sized it so they fit into 5x7s as well. So let's go for that. I really like this paper. So I've gone for the greeny one today because the ephemera piece I had a green centre. So I chose the paper to match that central piece. This is a great one because the pattern papers come in the orange, in the yellow, in the navy. There's loads of choices in the manual labour kit. So let's get that central one on. Make sure it's the right way because we do have wording on this paper. Let's open it up. And again, I've gone for the plaid paper here, but there's a real big choice of coordinating paper to go with that decorative one. They really thought about it all with this kit. I said a lot of backing papers, a lot of little sentiment strips and stuff. And there we have our last piece. So the same 2 papers 2 different cards. So I think I'm going to go for, which way around should we go? Let's go that way. So this piece, I've actually done nothing with it apart from resize it. It came like that and just cut around it. So that'd be a nice one to fit down there. So just make sure I keep the glue so we're not sticking it. So from the caution down, there we are. And I like this because these bits sort of mirrored the shape of the card. And let's stick this down. So it's down the center and across the bottom. Let's take it up a little bit. There we are. And I've cut out some of the bunting pieces as well. So let's add them to the top. So I just rescaled them and used Publisher, which said how wide I wanted. So I've made them an inch wide. So I knew they'd fit onto these strips. I do have 2 more. Do I go here? Or do I put them on this one? I think this one needs a bit of breaking up, so we'll go on to this one. So also, maybe I'll print out some more. That's nice because it ties in the top actually, so yeah, I think I chose the right way. And I've cut out some of the tools as well. So if you wanted to, you could have these coming out and adding more structure, or actually I've got some 3D foam tape here. I've got this one which says man cave. So let's put some tape onto that one then. Let's just add some 3D-ness to this one. Oh, it's not very straight. That's better. And let's add some tools onto this one. And onto the spanner. So if you want to highlight them a bit more, just add some black soot distress ink. So this set does come with more sentiment strips, but I haven't done them yet because I don't know who the cards are going to be for. So I can just print out a dad, a granddad sentiment and stick them on once I know who they're for. But as a base, I think these look pretty good as they are. Like I said, it's like a 2-for-1 really with the backing papers. I should have done the black soot before taking off the tape. Yeah, I'm going to put onto this one. And we could put that banner across the top or something, but I think I'm going to leave it off for now. And let's stick that one underneath. Because I'm not going to put foam tape on that tiny little screwdriver bit. It's just so we've got 3 there. So there we go. 2 5-step stepper cards with a masculine theme. But of course, this will work for any papers, any of your digi-kits, any kits you've got at home. So please give it a go. And once you've had a go, take a photo and share with me on my Facebook group, Paper Crafting with Paul. I'll add a link to the description below. And can't wait to see what you make. See you again soon.